Welcome to the Old Charles. Today we are talking about the United Kingdom 2 shilling coin dated 1949 and why this historic coin is still interesting to collectors and everyday people who discover it in old collections. The 2 shilling coin is also known as the florin and it played an important role in British coinage for many years before decimalisation. The 1949 issue belongs to the post-war period when Britain was rebuilding its economy and daily life was slowly returning to normal. This makes the coin a small but powerful piece of history that connects directly to the lives of people living in that era. The 1949 2 shilling coin was issued during the reign of King George VI. His portrait appears on the obverse side of the coin, showing the crowned bust of the king facing left along with the Latin inscription that reflects his royal titles. This portrait style was used in the later years of his reign and is well known among collectors. The reverse side of the coin features a crowned rose with thistle, shamrock and leek representing England, Scotland, Ireland and Wales. This design symbolized unity within the United Kingdom and had been used on florins for many years, making it instantly recognizable. The metal composition of the 1949 2 shilling coin is cupro nickel, which means it contains copper and nickel. Before the year 1947 florins were made of silver, but due to rising costs and economic pressures after the Second World War the Royal Mint switched to base metals. This change is very important when discussing value because many people mistakenly believe all old British coins are silver, but the 1949 2 shilling coin does not contain silver. Its value comes from collectability, condition and historical interest rather than precious metal content. In circulated condition, the 1949 2 shilling coin is quite common. Many were produced and used heavily in everyday transactions. Marks, scratches and wear are normal on coins that passed through many hands during that time. In such circulated condition the value is usually modest. Collectors may pay a small premium over face value, mainly for date completion in a collection or for nostalgic reasons. This means if your coin is very worn the value will not be very high. However, condition plays a major role in determining value. If the coin is found in very fine or extremely fine condition with clear details on the king's portrait and sharp elements on the reverse, then the value increases noticeably. Coins that have not been cleaned and still retain original surface texture are always more desirable to collectors. Cleaning can actually reduce value because it damages the original finish and removes historical character. Uncirculated examples of the 1949 2 shilling coin are much harder to find. These coins show no signs of wear and may still have mint luster. If preserved well, such coins were often kept aside by collectors or saved shortly after issue. The value of an uncirculated 1949 florin can be significantly higher compared to circulated examples, especially if certified by a reputable grading service. There are also proof versions of the 1949 2 shilling coin. Proofs were specially struck coins made for collectors with sharper details and mirror-like surfaces. These were produced in much smaller numbers and are highly sought after today. A genuine proof example in excellent condition can be quite valuable and stands at the top of the value range for this date. When checking your coin, always look closely at the details. The date should be clear and easy to read. The king's hair and facial features should be examined for wear and the reverse crown and floral emblem should still be well defined. Edge damage, discoloration or corrosion can reduce value, while attractive natural toning can sometimes add appeal. The 1949 2 shilling coin may not make someone instantly rich, but it carries strong historical importance. It represents a turning point in British coinage when silver was removed and base metals became standard. It also reminds us of post-war Britain and the everyday money used by millions of people during that time. For collectors, this coin is a meaningful addition to a George VI set or a pre-decimal British collection. Absolutely, we can go deeper into the history of the United Kingdom 2 shilling coin. 1949 The 2 shilling coin, also known as the florin, was first introduced in 1849 during the reign of Queen Victoria. It was designed as an attempt to decimalize the British currency system by creating a coin worth 1/10 of a pound. Over the years the florin became an important part of daily life in Britain and its colonies. People used it for everyday purchases. It was slightly larger than a modern 20-pence piece and made of silver until after the Second World War. The 1949 2 shilling coin was issued during the reign of King George VI, who became king in 1936 after the abdication of his brother Edward VIII. George VI led Britain through the Second World War and the immediate post-war period. The coin reflects the austere years after the war when Britain was recovering from shortages, rationing and rebuilding its economy. The change From silver to cupro-nickel in 1947 was a direct response to economic pressures during this time, and the 1949 coin is one of the early examples of this new metal composition. The design of the florin remained largely unchanged during George VI's reign. The obverse shows the king's portrait wearing a crown, while the reverse features the crowned rose, thistle, shamrock and leek, symbolizing the four nations of the United Kingdom. This design was intended to promote national unity at a time when Britain was facing significant political, social and economic challenges internationally. Britain was maintaining its empire but also experiencing changes that would eventually lead to decolonization in the following decades. Collecting the 1949 2-shilling coin today is not only about its monetary value but also about preserving a piece of British history. It represents the shift in coinage metals post-war, the reign of King George VI, the everyday life of Britons in the late 1940s, and the continuation of centuries of coinage tradition. The coin connects modern collectors with an era of resilience, recovery and historical significance. The florin continued to be issued until decimalization in 1971, after which it was replaced by the 10-pence coin. Many collectors appreciate the 1949 florin as part of the George VI series and as a tangible reminder of Britain's transition from pre-decimal silver coinage to the modern decimal system. Its history is a story of adaptation, survival and continuity in British monetary history. When we talk about the condition of the United Kingdom 2-shilling 1949 coin, condition is one of the most important factors in determining its value for collectors. The condition describes how much wear and tear the coin has experienced since it was first minted. A coin that has been used heavily in everyday transactions will show signs of wear such as flattened details, scratches, nicks or discoloration, while a coin that has been preserved carefully will retain more of its original features. For circulated coins, a worn coin might still have the king's portrait visible, but the finer details such as hairlines, facial features or the crown may be faint. The floral design on the reverse showing the rose, thistle, shamrock and leek may be partially worn down, but the coin is still recognizable. Collectors refer to this as good or fine condition. Such coins have modest value mainly because they are common and show signs of handling. As the condition improves, coins can reach very fine or extremely fine grades. In these coins most details are still sharp. The king's portrait is clear, the crown and floral emblems are distinct, and the coin has minimal marks or scratches. Coins that retain their original surface texture and have not been cleaned are highly preferred by collectors. Cleaning or polishing can actually reduce the value because it alters the natural patina and historical character of the coin. Uncirculated coins are those that show no signs of wear. They may have been stored carefully in coin albums or boxes since they were minted. These coins retain mint luster and the details are fully sharp. The obverse and reverse designs are crisp and eye-catching. Uncirculated coins from 1949 are much rarer than circulated ones and command a higher price among collectors, especially if certified by a grading service. Proof coins are another category of condition. They are specially struck for collectors with sharper details and mirror-like surfaces. They were made in small numbers and are often beautifully preserved. These coins are at the top of the value range for the 1949 2-shilling florin. When assessing the condition, it is important to look closely at the obverse for the clarity of the king's portrait, the lettering and crown, and the reverse for the detail of the floral emblems. The edges should be examined for nicks or damage and any discoloration or corrosion noted. Natural toning that develops over time can add aesthetic appeal and sometimes increase collector interest. The better the condition, the higher the value and the more desirable the coin is for a collection.